God, I look like a Karen gone wrong. Hello lovelies, oh, welcome back, welcome if you're new. I am probably a little bit ahead of my time with this one, because in America we're going with big strides towards Thanksgiving, which is obviously a huge thing, but in the UK and in Europe we are now starting to very intensely think about Christmas. And with that comes the thinking intensely about Christmas presents. And now, with this being plague times, it's pretty easy to see that not everybody might have the financial capacity this year to buy elaborate presents, or even if you wanted to support small businesses. I appreciate that small businesses sometimes have to price certain items higher because they're small businesses. They don't have like the massive capacity of an Amazon, which we should, where possible, try to avoid, because Jeff Bezos does not need another billion before the end of the year. However, I am a friend of, if you don't want to, or if you aren't able to buy something, you can try and make it yourself. Now, I have developed a little hobby wherein I turn stuff like this, your average 50p, might have been less, wooden spoon, into something quite personal and quite artsy, actually, if I do say so myself. With wood burning. Now, wood burning is something you can get into quite easily and relatively cheaply, and sometimes even with stuff you already have at home in some cases. If you have a dad who's like technically, or if you like are a model builder or something, because you could technically even use a soldering iron for this, which is kind of how I started. So without much further ado, I am going to take you over to the craft table and show you what I started with, what I now work with, and how I go about pyrographing, because that is the fancy word for it, how I go about wood burning any kinds of spoons, anything wooden basically. So let's go. Okay, so here are my two versions of wood burning tools. I started off with, like mentioned, this very small, very basic kit comprising of what is effectively a soldering iron and a variety of tips that came with it. I don't generally use them because they aren't very good, quite frankly. Also, the handle on this one gets quite hot to hold, so I ended up using like a heavy-duty builder's glove, just simply to protect my hands. If you burn shorter times, like 4 or 5 minutes, it's fine, but anything after that can get quite uncomfortable. This kit came from Wish, ordered online. You can have a look at your local hardware store, or even some craft stores carry these smaller versions of wood burning kits. But after playing around with this for a while, I decided to get something a little more sturdy and upgraded to this whole life wood burning station. It's got a good temperature control and offers a bit more continuity in the temperature to the tip, whereas the other one had kind of like very sort of burn and down, like very sort of varying temperatures. Probably like a soldering iron does, but this one is a bit more continuous in the heat distribution. This is a solid piece of kit, but it doesn't come with a whole lot of attachments. I think it only had like 3 or 4, but you don't really need much more if you know how to use them, so to speak. Just play around a little and kind of get to know which tip you like work with best, or which kind of like feels most comfortable to you. Yeah, these two are definitely on the lower end of the price range. Like I said, the soldering iron kit from Wish came at, I think, something between 12 and 18 pounds, including shipping, and the Whole Life one was, I think, 38 pounds at the time from Amazon. They're fine if you want to do this as like a little bit of a hobby, for gift making, or just simply for yourself. I know people who have gotten into this quite seriously, and you can spend a lot on a professional grade pyrography machine. Enough of the technicalities, let's get down to the actual burning. So before I start burning anything, I go extra, and I like to prepare my surface. It's not technically really necessary, but I just like to go over any kind of like wooden surface for a spoon or for small boxes or anything, with a bit of fine sandpaper, just to even out any potential roughness. But that's just me, it's not technically necessary. I've got these two example items here. I've got like an old wooden spoon that we've been using for a while, and I've got like a brand spanking new spatula. These come like really cheap from homeware stores. I'm not entirely sure about more rustic wood, how you would prepare that or not. I haven't worked with anything like sort of a fresh cut of like circular wood or like a bark or anything. So if you have experienced that, do feel free to let me know about that in the comments. But after sanding and cleaning, I kind of just sketch out the design I want on the item, and go ahead, and I don't really sketch in any details because I kind of just do those on a whim once I'm done with the main design. But yeah, you can go completely nuts with this. You can do cute, you can do fancy, you can do detailed, you can do simple, like literally whatever your creative heart desires. Yeah, if this is your first time burning, I do recommend that you kind of like find a scrap piece of wood, or like something that you like don't really care about, if it sort of doesn't turn out great, just to do like a few practice burns to get a feeling for the whole thing. And then I just go ahead, burn in the outlines. Once I've got the outlines down, I tend to, like I said, go back and add some texture, add some details. If the item that you're burning isn't going to be in contact with food, you could technically like either use some wood stain to give it like an overall different color, or I've seen people use Sharpie on items, so that's, again, go nuts. But yeah, here's the rest of the process. Otherwise, that is pretty much it in terms of my wood burning process. I do hope you enjoyed this little excursion and maybe got a little bit inspired to try something new yourself. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. If you do burn anything, do feel free to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see if you do get up to any shenanigans in wood burning. But for today, that is it from me. Wherever you are, have a lovely day, and I shall see you in my next video.